Welcome to Live Kindly. For Socrates, philosophy was a quest for wisdom, and in the Socratic dialogues he often questioned the beliefs of the people he was talking to. His way of asking questions gave birth to the type of philosophy called philosophical skepticism. Socrates was an embodiment of not only true wisdom but also true courage. When he was old, he was imprisoned after the government of Athens accused him of corrupting the youth and failing to acknowledge the city's official gods. Instead of attempting escape, he chose to take responsibility for himself. He was then sentenced to death. Teaching philosophy was the mission of his life, and he encouraged everyone to question everything, no matter the risk. One fundamental teaching of Socrates refers to the theme of self-control. According to Socrates, wisdom or philosophy allows people to adopt self-control and to do what is right in their life. To achieve self-control, people must be free from their appetites for bodily pleasures, like food, drink, sex, and other physical comforts. For example, Socrates was famous for going barefoot and dressing as simply as possible, managing to control his own passions, desires, and appetites. His asceticism, or severe self-discipline, is difficult to follow in our modern lives, as for many of us such a lifestyle is neither practical nor desirable. In spite of this, he can still teach us to enhance our self-control. To help you better understand his teachings regarding the mastery of self-control and how best to implement them into your own life, here are 3 lessons from the wisdom of Socrates. By incorporating these lessons into your daily life, you can cultivate greater self-control and live a more balanced and fulfilling life, much in the spirit of Socrates' teachings. Number 1. Be just. One should never do wrong in return nor mistreat any man, no matter how one has been mistreated by him. For Socrates, justice was one of the principal human virtues, and he believed it was always better to be just than unjust. This belief was deeply rooted in his understanding of the human soul, which he divided into 3 parts: reason, logistikon, spirit, timoides, and appetite, epithemedikon. According to Socrates, a person is just when each part of the soul performs its function and does not interfere negatively with the others. Reason, which is the goal-seeking and measuring faculty, should govern the soul. Its primary function is to rule through the love of learning and to guide the spirit and appetite. However, spirit and appetite are indispensable for life. The spirit is the part of the soul that manifests strong emotions, such as anger. When functioning well, the spirit obeys reason's direction and defends the entire soul from external threats. For example, if someone accuses you of lying, your spirit helps you defend yourself immediately. Similarly, if you feel anxious before an important event, reason tells you that staying calm will help you perform better, and your spirit tries to regulate your anxiety accordingly. The function of appetite is to seek and produce pleasure. Although the appetite can set its own goals, like going to a restaurant to enjoy a favorite meal, it lacks the ability to distinguish between short-term satisfaction and long-term happiness. Only reason can formulate goals that lead to long-term happiness. For instance, if your favorite meal is unhealthy, indulging in it every day would harm your health. Therefore, it's essential to follow reason to achieve long-term happiness. Justice, as defined by Socrates, is the natural balance of the soul's parts, making injustice an imbalance. Injustice arises from a lawless attitude, where we become slaves to our desires. When the appetite dominates functions meant for reason or spirit, we experience disorder and regret, potentially becoming insatiable and fearful. In Plato's Republic, Socrates suggests that those who are not philosophers have divided souls where the 3 parts interfere with each other, creating imbalance. Philosophers, capable of directing their appetites with reason, embody this balanced state. To be just, according to Socrates, we must pay attention to which part of our soul rules us. Philosophers find pleasure in learning, egotists in being honored, and narcissists in making money. Socrates argued that the pleasures pursued by philosophers are superior. He distinguished between lower pleasures, like those derived from food, drink, sex, and comfort, and higher pleasures, such as those gained from intellectual pursuits like learning. Lower pleasures are necessary only for survival and are not true pleasures but merely the absence of pain. Socrates calculated that the life of a philosopher king, embodying justice, is 729 times more pleasant than that of a tyrant who is unjust and driven by the lowest pleasures. Consequently, just people are generally happier than unjust ones. History provides numerous examples of tyrants and dictators who exploited their populations to satisfy their insatiable desires for power and luxury. The more selfish we become, mistreating others to fulfill our own interests and desires, the harder it is to revert to a moral life. Once someone indulges in luxury through immoral actions, returning to a virtuous life becomes challenging. From Socrates' teachings, we learn that to be just, we must detach ourselves from worldly pleasures such as money, fame, sex, and food. We should seek education, both in philosophy and practical knowledge, to expand our understanding of the world. If we possess more than we need, we should avoid losing ourselves in the pursuit of a lavish lifestyle. Engaging in collaborative activities with others, ensuring our actions do not harm them, and ideally supporting and uplifting each other makes it easier to be just and virtuous. Socrates also believed that we have control over only two things in life: our thoughts and actions. Everything else is beyond our control. Despite this, many people waste time and effort complaining about things they cannot influence. Emotions like anger can sometimes motivate us to address injustices, but often they are unproductive. For example, getting stuck in traffic can lead to shouting and frustration, but it changes nothing about the situation. Instead, we could relax and listen to the radio. The next time you feel frustrated or angry, ask yourself if the anger is useful and serves a purpose. Recognize that you cannot control others, their words, actions, or thoughts, so focus on your own life. Furthermore, Socrates emphasized the importance of gratitude. He advised us to take full account of our excellencies and remember how much we would long for them if we did not have them. Often, we overlook the amazing things and people in our lives, focusing instead on what we lack. By placing ourselves in a mindset of not taking for granted the significant aspects of our lives, we can cultivate a deep sense of gratitude. This practice shifts our focus from lack to abundance, enhancing our overall happiness and contentment. Socrates also taught that our mind creates its needs, and we should treat this capacity with respect. In a materialistic culture, we are constantly bombarded with advertisements promoting the latest gadgets and the luxurious lifestyles of the rich and famous. Seeking happiness through material possessions is a futile pursuit. No material thing truly belongs to us. Everything can be taken away. Instead, we should focus on building our character and developing qualities like kindness, honesty, and hard work. These virtues define us more than any material possession ever could. Socrates' teachings encourage us to prioritize the development of our character over the accumulation of material wealth. By focusing on internal virtues and maintaining a balance between the parts of our soul, we can achieve long-term happiness and fulfillment. Justice, wisdom, and self-control are essential to living a virtuous life. And by embracing these principles, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. Through education, gratitude, and the pursuit of higher pleasures, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and lead a more meaningful life. Number 2, know yourself. As Socrates so simply said, "Know thyself." This maxim, one of the Delphic maxims, was inscribed at the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. According to the Greek writer Pausanias, it was accompanied by "nothing to excess" and "certainty brings insanity." When Socrates was asked to summarize his entire philosophy, he responded with, "Know thyself." Thus, knowing oneself can be seen as the central purpose of one's life. Wisdom, or philosophy, teaches us to have self-control and to do what is right. According to Socrates, achieving a high level of self-control and confidence requires deep self-knowledge. Not everything we know about ourselves is equally important. What truly matters are aspects related to our inner core, our talents, passions, real personality, behavioral patterns, vulnerabilities, emotional versus rational decision-making tendencies, conflict resolution strategies, qualities we find attractive, and self-confidence levels. We often underestimate the importance of understanding these facets of ourselves. A lack of self-knowledge can lead us into difficult situations. For instance, not knowing your true talents or passions might result in choosing the wrong career, such as opting for medicine over music due to parental pressure. Similarly, not recognizing a preference for creative tasks over organizational roles could lead to accepting a promotion into management that does not align with your strengths. If you are an emotional person who loves human interaction, you might end up in a routine job with insufficient social engagement, leading to dissatisfaction. Knowing ourselves can significantly enhance our happiness and give us greater control over our lives. Awareness of our weaknesses allows us to predict when they might surface and mitigate their impact. For example, if public speaking makes you nervous, practicing techniques like recalling simple cues, visualizing your speech as practice, or taking deep breaths can help manage your anxiety. Self-knowledge is a long process that requires life experience and reflection. There will be painful episodes, but these are often the best opportunities to learn about your true self. To properly learn from life events, it's essential to reflect on each day. Meditate on the day's events, your reactions, what you did well, and where you fell short, understanding the reasons behind your actions. Through repeated self-reflection, you will gradually learn more about yourself. This growing self-awareness allows you to develop strategies to address your weaknesses, better preparing you for future challenges. As Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." In summary, know thyself is a foundational principle for leading a fulfilling life. It involves a deep, ongoing exploration of your inner self, recognizing your strengths and understanding your weaknesses. This self-awareness enables you to make informed decisions, align your actions with your true nature, and live a more controlled and satisfying life. By continuously examining and understanding yourself, you can navigate life with greater wisdom and purpose, ensuring that your actions are in harmony with your true self. Number 3, be in control of your bodily desires. Socrates once remarked, "If you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you don't want, you suffer. Even when you get exactly what you want, you still suffer because you can't hold on to it forever." This insight captures the perpetual dissatisfaction that comes from chasing individual desires. Socrates believed that true happiness and virtue, which he equated with wisdom, come from transcending these desires. In the dialogue Phaedo, also known as On the Soul, Socrates argues that bodily pleasures are not only bad or worthless, but should be avoided as much as possible because they distract us and impair our capacity for reasoning. Without rational control over our desires, we are unable to make wise decisions, leading to unhappiness. Therefore, the key to happiness and virtue is to focus on the soul rather than on bodily pleasures. Bodily pleasures include indulgences in food, sex, and other forms of extreme physical satisfaction. Socrates advocated for an ascetic or austere lifestyle, where philosophers oppose the body in every respect, avoiding pleasures, desires, pains, and fears to the greatest extent possible. According to Socrates, non-philosophers or common people have impure souls and are enslaved by their bodily desires, which dictate their actions. Even when they are fully conscious and in control, these individuals act to fulfill their worldly desires. In contrast, philosophers prioritize the pleasure of learning, the acquisition of knowledge, and the understanding of justice. This focus allows them to escape the prison of bodily pleasures. Socrates suggested that to achieve true happiness, we must find a higher aim in life, something greater than our temporary existence. Living in pursuit of personal desires ensures perpetual unhappiness. If we fail to fulfill our desires, we suffer. If we fulfill them, we still suffer because we realize we cannot hold on to them forever. New desires will always arise. For example, no matter how much food you eat, you will be hungry again in a few hours. If your relationship is based solely on physical attraction, it will eventually fade, leaving you in an unhappy relationship without a deeper connection. Similarly, if you covet money and luxury, no amount of wealth will ever be enough, as new desires for material possessions will continually emerge. To find lasting happiness, we must pursue goals that transcend our individual lives. Instead of focusing on making money for luxury vacations, fancy cars, or oversized houses, we should aim to make the world a better place. In our professional lives, rather than seeking the highest paid job, we should focus on roles where our skills and talents can have the most positive impact on society. In terms of relationships, we should focus on intellectual and emotional connections with our partners, shared hobbies, life goals, and, if desired, building a family together. By doing so, we create a deeper, more meaningful bond that goes beyond mere physical pleasure. Ultimately, we need to escape the prison of selfish, personal desires and interests. We should broaden our areas of interest and set goals that are higher than our individual existence. True freedom and happiness can only be achieved when we are no longer slaves to our bodily desires. By not letting these desires dictate our lives, we gain control over ourselves and our destinies. In summary, Socrates' teachings emphasize the importance of knowing oneself and transcending bodily desires to achieve true happiness and virtue. By focusing on the soul and higher aims, we can live a more fulfilling and meaningful life, free from the perpetual cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. Socrates' timeless wisdom teaches us that true happiness and virtue are found not in the relentless pursuit of material pleasures, but in the cultivation of our inner selves. By knowing ourselves deeply, we can understand our true passions, strengths, and weaknesses, enabling us to make wise decisions that lead to a fulfilling life. Socrates challenges us to rise above our bodily desires and seek higher purposes that transcend our individual existence. Whether it is through meaningful work, deep relationships, or intellectual pursuits, focusing on what truly matters allows us to live a life of purpose and contentment. As we strive to balance our inner and outer worlds, we should remember Socrates' powerful exhortation, "Know thyself." By doing so, we embrace a path of self-awareness, wisdom, and enduring happiness, proving that the examined life is indeed worth living. If you found this exploration of Socratic wisdom enlightening, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on philosophy and personal growth. Your support helps us continue to bring valuable knowledge to our community. Thank you for watching, and remember to always seek wisdom and know thyself.